The midwife's sharp clap pierces the pre-dawn hush, marking your arrival into a world where honor and violence go hand in hand. It's the year of the dragon, an auspicious sign, but right now, you're just a wriggling, mewling bundle hardly. The stuff of legends. Your father's disappointment is a shadow across the paper screens. Another mouth to feed in a world where rice is never guaranteed, and the only certainty is conflict. Welcome to feudal Japan, where your entire life is mapped out before you can even crawl. Helicopter parents? Try samurai parents every move, every breath, every step shaped by duty to clan and the heavy weight of legacy. By age 5, while other kids play tag in muddy fields, you're mastering the noble art of sitting still. The daily shrine visits are grueling endurance tests. Incense stings your eyes and tickles your nose, but you know better than to sneeze. The first time you knock over an offering bowl, your father's glare is so fierce you'd swear you've dishonored your ancestors. The punishment: 1,000 extra swings with your practice sword, each one biting a lesson into your trembling arms. 6. Your first real test comes at 6, the ceremonial haircut. You've watched older children emerge from the barber's mat, there. Childish hair shorn, replaced by awkwardly stiff top knots that make them look like miniature adults. Now it's your turn. Goodbye, soft locks. Hello, itchy scalp and a head that feels twice as heavy. At least you get to wear hakama now, though nobody warns you how easily the wide-legged trousers trip you up. Walking suddenly becomes a higher risk. Sport then. At 7, everything changes. The comforts of home such as they were are over. You're sent to the dojo, your new home until adulthood. The sensei's first lesson isn't swordsmanship or archery, but the art of sitting seiza, the proper kneeling position. Spend hours on straw mats until your legs go numb and every nerve feels like it's being attacked by tiny invisible ninjas. The older students kneel serenely. You, meanwhile, wriggle and squirm, desperate for relief. Your first practice sword feels impossibly heavy. They call it a bakken, call it the instrument of maximum embarrassment. Drop it in training, and you're sentenced to squats until your thighs burn. The sensei's favorite saying, even great mountains were once small hills. You're not convinced, but you repeat it anyway as you limp home each night. Winter brings new torments. The dojo floor is as cold as river ice, and meditation becomes an exercise in not letting your teeth chatter loud enough to attract your sensei's attention. Complaining? It's not very samurai. Eventually, you're learning to meditate through the cold, your breath steaming in the chill morning air. At 13, you finally receive your first real sword. It's a profound moment, at least. It's meant to be. Nobody warns you about maintenance. The first time you try to clean it, you slice your palm. A blood bond with your blade, sensei says approvingly. You'd have preferred a less painful ritual like origami. Next comes mounted archery abasami. Imagine threading a needle while riding a bucking horse across a muddy field. Your arrows scatter everywhere. The sensei, all serene wisdom, strokes his chin and mumbles something about patience. The horse just snorts. You're certain both of them are laughing at you. The years pass in a blur of rituals and drills. The coming of age ceremony, the genpuku, is meant to turn you into an adult overnight. Your childhood name is replaced by something grand, honorable warrior of virtue, or so they claim. In reality, you still trip over your own sword and can't sit in armor without toppling over. Your armor fitting is a comedy of errors. The craftsman mutters about your unique build while trying not to snicker. Then comes your first real battle. All those elegant drills, the endless practice, it all dissolves in the chaos of war. There's no symmetry, no graceful dueling, just shrieks, mud, and the sharp sting of panic. Your grand strategy boils down to, don't die, and if possible, don't embarrass yourself. Somehow you manage one of those, but the sword isn't your only battlefield. Clan politics are trickier than any duel. Bow too low, and you insult a rival. Pour tea wrong, and it's a minor diplomatic crisis. Etiquette is a minefield. You soon suspect the real enemy isn't on the battlefield. But in the council chamber, of course, there's marriage too. The match is arranged. Your future wife is the daughter of a neighboring clan's most fearsome warrior. Good news, she's skilled with a naginata. Bad news, she's really skilled. Your first dinner together is a tense calculation of how quickly she could take you out if you offended her. You decide perfect table manners are your only hope. One day, you're handed command of 20 samurai. They look at you like you have the wisdom of 1,000 generations. The truth? You're improvising, your main strategy. Look confident while silently panicking. Strangely, it works. Your reputation as a tactical genius grows, mostly thanks to luck and quick recoveries. In one battle, your horse spooks at a butterfly, and chaos erupts only for the enemy to be so confused that you win the day. Sometimes failing upward is a legitimate samurai tactic. As you grow older, you begin to see past the sword and the rituals. Your sensei's old saying suddenly makes sense, and you catch yourself passing on wisdom to the next generation. The bamboo that bends is more useful than the one that breaks. You're amazed the students actually write it down. The aches of age creep in like a stealthy ninja. Your sword swing slows, but your experience compensates. Young warriors challenge you, eager to prove themselves. You win not with strength, but with patience, a well-timed parry, a single step, a knowing smile. One morning, your reflection in your polished blade is more silver than black. The next generation is faster, stronger, and miraculously even worse at etiquette. You remember being that eager young samurai, convinced every problem could be solved with a sharp sword. If only back pain could be slain the same way. Face your last duel with a hotshot student who spent the morning practicing flashy moves. You end the match in a single stroke, then offer a cryptic lesson about bamboo and wisdom. You've earned the right to be annoyingly philosophical. Eventually, your greatest victory isn't on the battlefield, but in the council chamber diffusing. A war with a well-timed, embarrassing story about a rival's grandfather. Turns out, the sharpest weapon is often a clever tongue. Your final morning is spent in the garden, your sword across your lap, finally at peace. The message you leave your students isn't about honor or combat, it's about surviving long enough to realize that most problems in life can't be solved by a sword at all. The older you get, the heavier your swords feel, yet the sharper your memories become. Time grinds on like the endless scrape of armor on stone, and you wake each morning with new aches and more gray in your hair. In the clan's council room, faces change, politics stay the same, new rivalries rise, old ones fade into drunken reminiscence at New Year. And you realize you've survived longer than most by learning which fights are worth picking and which are best left alone. Your days of leading cavalry charges through mud and cherry blossoms have dwindled. Now, your battlefield is the tatami matted hall, where your weapons are silences and glances, the right word at the right time. You once craved the thrill of drawing your blade. Now you understand that power lies just as much in sheathing it. Your students come and go, each a reflection of your own past blunders. The dojo fills with hopeful young warriors, wide-eyed, knob-kneed, as awkward as you once were. You watch them stumble through their first seiza, topple over during their first sparring session, and you recognize that mixture of fear and stubbornness. Sometimes you want to yell, "Slow down. The world will beat you up enough without your help." Instead, you offer the same cryptic encouragements your sensei gave you. A river cuts through stone not by power, but by persistence. Pretend to understand, nodding solemnly. You see through them. Remember pretending too. By now you're known as a wise elder, which mostly means people assume you have answers. The truth, you're still figuring out life, one mistake at a time. You recall your own youth, hot-headed, always convinced that honor demanded immediate action. But the more you lived, the more you realized that honor sometimes means letting things go, letting people make mistakes, learning the cost of stubborn pride. Your family has grown as well. Your marriage, awkward at first, filled with the silent contest of two warriors testing boundaries, has become a partnership. You and your wife have found common ground, both on and off the tatami. She remains the only person who can disarm. You with a look or silence, you with a single arch of her brow. You once feared her skill with a naginata. Now you fear disappointing her more than any enemy's blade. Children arrive one, then another. Your eldest, a daughter, is as sharp-tongued as her mother and twice as stubborn. Your youngest, a boy, prefers poetry to practice swords. At first, You worry? The world outside your home is unkind to those who are gentle. But your wife reminds you that the clan needs poets as well as warriors, that strength takes many forms. You try to teach your children balance the sword in one hand, compassion in the other. It's harder than it sounds. As you age, memories of battle fade, placed by the quiet victories, brokering peace between rival clans over endless cups of tea, guiding a student through his first loss, helping your daughter navigate a council, full of men who underestimate her. Come to realize that the true legacy of a samurai isn't measured by scars.